Come on, Risa, you're making me laugh and I can't concentrate already.
I'm here.
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to this week's episode of Magnificently Made Mondays. Yes, last week we were on Friday because both Sue and I had a little something. But today we're back on schedule with Risa Baghdadi, a lovely, lovely person. And if you don't know Risa, you really ought to, because she's wonderful. We just did a book signing together. We're supposed to be a third for the Three Musketeers, but Maureen couldn't make it. So it was just Risa and I, and we didn't really know what we were doing. But we kind of just she took over, she commanded the stage. And so Risa is a speech pathologist, and she's a professor, and you can really tell when she speaks and commands the space because she knows how to get people's attention. She's funny. I don't know. I love her. So let's read her bio from the chapter Magnificently Made. And if you haven't caught on to what we do every week, there are 33 amazing women who contributed to the book Magnificently Made, which is now available, magnificentlymade.net. So there's 33 stories from all different kinds of, from loss and grief to hope, and just words of encouragement to help you all get through some tough times in life. So Risa wrote chapter 32 called Prepare and Provide. Yes. So I'm going to read her bio quick. Risa Baghdadi is the wife and mom of two of the best people in the world. She is blessed with a large, incredible family with her cousins, who are more like sisters and brothers, to her in-laws, to her nieces and nephews, all of whom are the kindest and most loving people you could hope to meet. In a professional life, Risa is a speech-language pathologist who worked for 34 years in the New York City Department of Education, multiple group homes, and private practice, and she is currently an adjunct professor in a graduate-level SLP program. Risa loves hosting big and small dinner parties and was crowned favorite Italian aunt, only Italian aunt, by her Lebanese nieces and nephews. She is a lifelong football fan, self-taught guitarist, music lover, every genre except opera, and the family historian, letter writer, and storyteller. After years of caregiving, Risa and her husband are making a point of returning to traveling the world, adding to their already visited destination of Italy, Sicily, England, Ireland, Lebanon, Canada, and the Caribbean, as well as many U.S. cities. Her bucket list is long and varied, exotic and mundane. Most importantly, Risa makes sure the people in her life know how much they are valued and loved. She believes we can agree to disagree as long as we can laugh and love anyway.
Yeah. Thank you. That was beautifully read. I appreciate that.
And I didn't read it, and that was the first time I read it. I thought, I could fake it. So, Risa, thank you so much for hopping on. I thoroughly enjoyed your chapter, where I usually don't read people's chapter beforehand, but you were the exception to my rule because we were doing signings together and I felt like I needed to know a little bit more. So introduce yourself, tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Risa Baghdadi, and pretty much everything that Chrissy read is really the truth, except I'm still a tech neophyte, and so I always feel like I'm the one that's making the mistakes, and I still don't know where to look in the camera, so you'll have to just bear with me. I've always been the family letter writer, the family historian, and I've always dreamt that one day I was going to be published. I didn't know in what, I didn't know when, where, or how. And then this opportunity fell in my lap, and my husband, when I asked him, I don't know, you think I should do this? Do you think I have anything worth saying? He said, well, if not now, when? And that kind of gave me the permission to explore what I was going to write about. Our publishers sent each one of us a very in-depth, I thought, questionnaire, like 10, 12 pages, all of these questions that kind of asked the same question in different ways to kind of make you really think about what you wanted to say. And Jen kind of honed in on the fact that really everything does kind of center around the home and the family for me and for my husband. And being a type A, I was always, I got to be prepared. You have to have all your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and you have to have everything ready to go. And so that served me very well when I was in school because I did really well in school. However, in life, those lists and that being prepared doesn't always go to plan. And so my chapter kind of goes into what happens to somebody like me when my perfect plans and my perfect lists just blow up in my face, whether it's something I did or didn't do, or more often than not, when an external event occurs that I have no control over. And then what do I do?
Wait a minute. Let me stop you. Tell everybody what your combo is.
I always say if Martha Stewart and Lucy Ricardo had a baby, it would be me. Because I do try very hard to have everything lined up and to be prepared and perfect. But, like Lucy and Ethel in the Chocolate Factory, it doesn't always work out. And then I have a hard time figuring out what to do and how to kind of salvage whatever I'm working on. So that's the first thing, being prepared and what happens when you can't be prepared. But that then kind of begged the question of, well, prepared for what? And what does it mean to have enough to feel like you're prepared and can handle something? And that was the other question that our publisher, Jen, asked me to really examine, like, what's enough? And it changes. It changes from the point of your life, where you are at that moment, and it changes according to where you're coming from, where you're headed towards, and you can have enough in many different ways over the course of a lifetime.
There is, if you watch like the Blue Zones, right? We talked about that. If you watch the Netflix show about octogenarians, octogenarians, living and what they did and what they had, or when you look back at villages with people who are so happy but have nothing when we look at them, like I've told you, your chapter is a reminder to me that really what's important. And it's family. It's not, and moments, right? Like you can have a best accidental get together at your house, and all of a sudden 30 people are over and you're ordering a pizza and it's like not planned out and it's accidental and it's like the best time. And then you play spoons and who gets, who breaks something, or, and it's just one of those memorable moments forever. So how did you okay, so you talk about when Anne was a baby, right? And it was 9/11. And I think we're at a time where people are really afraid now. So what would you say to a young mom who maybe would need to prepare in some kind of way, or how to make them feel better?
The first thing, and I don't want to give away too much, but the first thing I did when my husband called me from New Jersey to say he had, see, this is why, wow, this is a surprise. When he called me from,
I make you cry. I make Susan cry last week too. I'm sorry.
After she tells everybody I'm so funny, here I am crying. When my husband called me from New Jersey after being rescued from Lower Manhattan to say he was safe and just, I don't know how I'm getting home, but I'm going to get home, so just take care of the baby. The first thing I thought was, well, I don't know. What do you mean take care of the baby? How can I be prepared? So I did prepare a tangible security blanket filled with everything I thought I would need if I had to run out in the middle of the night with my child, who at the time was only 8 months old. I don't know what I would say. I mean, that did give me some comfort over the next few months. But in the end, I kind of laugh and I'm like, what the heck? I would just grab my baby and get the hell out of Dodge. We're in scary times. And what I see on television, I think to myself, oh, how long would my little diaper bag that I packed so well last me in today's situations? So I guess the bottom line is, as much as I wanted to be prepared, you can't be. And you just have to grab your baby and grab the people that you love and do the best you can do, because we can't predict. And that's the scary thing. And that's what this type A control freak doesn't like. I don't like the surprises. I don't like not knowing what's coming because I want to be prepared.
But you do a good job of it, with your lists, and you still provide for your family very well. And I think you're the center of your cousins, and on both sides. I would say that you're the heart.
Oh, thank you. They may disagree, but I think that's the other thing.
I don't know them, so
I'm not the best cook. My husband's a great cook. My cousin is really a fabulous cook. And my other cousin is a fabulous barbecue master. And another cousin is the queen of making that phone call and preparing it. We say, "Oh, did you make this?" And her line is, "I made it possible." And that's the bottom line. You don't have to be Julia Child, and you don't have to be the best of anything, because it really just matters that you're together and you're either sharing the pizza or sharing the takeout or sharing the gourmet grilling.
Yes. So how, you in the chapter, you go further into talk about your husband and where he's from and the life that he led before coming to America. You want to share some of that?
Oh, he was a little boy. We just talked about this at the dinner table tonight. He was a little boy, the youngest of 5 children, growing up in a very small town in Lebanon. And he and his family got caught up in the middle of the Civil War. I want to say like 74, 75, those years. And they had very little. And I'm watching what I'm watching on television, and he points to a kid and he's like, "That was me." And, there were electricity blackouts. There were scarce materials on the shelves, if there were any. And his mother and his aunts and all the ladies, they would pickle their foods and make their bread and share with anybody who needed it. And they were in survival mode. And when my father-in-law came here in 1978 with my mother-in-law and their 2 youngest kids, my husband being the younger of the 2, he left everything behind. There was no FaceTime. There was no cell phones. When you left in 1975, you left.
Yeah.
And they came here and they built up a new life, because to my father-in-law, he had to escape all of that danger and uncertainty, and he had to provide for his family. And that's what he did. And we marvel that he came here at the age of 50, give or take, and started from scratch again.
He definitely had that good entrepreneurial gene. And then we recently discovered that, our father-in-laws were friends, which, we said that they were.
Yeah, my dad.
Sorry.
My dad and your father-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm still a little silly. I think I'm still not right in the head. I think that's really beautiful, because I think it's added to, you look at Mike and he just smile, happy guy. Do you think from being in this relationship with him that the 2 of you just learned to really appreciate stuff so much?
Yeah. His favorite expression, and we've all adopted it at this point, is, "It'll all work out." I don't know how, but it will all work out. And he's right. And it always does. And it might not work out the way you thought it would, but it all is okay. It really is all okay. And the fact that he comes from that same cloth of family and table and having everybody together being the most important thing, it makes it easy for us to do everything that we do, because we're so like-minded.
Yeah, you guys are a great couple. And you made a beautiful daughter. So then we talked about, all right, so do you think if Mike said, do you think what really Mike said made you really say yes to the chapter? What was your hesitation? I think that, I knew my hesitation. I've asked people that, some women were like, "Oh, I'm in it. I'm doing it. This is one out of, it's not a whole book. It's a way for it to get published." You said that you already wanted to be published, but
but I was too afraid to be the sole author of anything. And the comfort here was that I was one of 33 and it wasn't going to bomb. But if it did, it wouldn't all be on my shoulders. But the other thing is, as I was listening to stories, it's like, okay, I don't have anything really dramatic or traumatic, or I went from rags to riches, or I'm a fabulous business person. I didn't think that my story would compare well or hold up well to the other stories that I knew were being written. But in preparing that questionnaire and in preparing the revisions each time they were sent back, I started to realize that everybody has a story. It sounds kind of, mundane, but it's true. We all have a story, but everybody's story has a different spin, even if they experienced the same event. And my story is, you have to be the imperfect perfectionist. You'll never attain perfection. Don't try. It's not going to happen. And just
really, I should stop. I should
Yeah.
stop trying.
When I finally figure out exactly how to do it, I'll bring you on board. But yeah, I did have something to say. And I think part of what happened is the more I would read it and the more I would reflect and the more I would revise, I became more in tune with what I did want to say. It's like, I run around trying to do everything so perfectly and prepare so perfectly and so efficiently. It's okay. Nobody's looking to me to be perfect. It's a burden I was putting on myself, and it's a killer. And I've given my daughter, and I've told her, you've got my permission to go your own path and do what you want to do. Be excellent at what you do, but not perfect. And there's a difference, right? So you think of what's excellent. Well, excellent means that you continue to strive to do the best you can do. And each time you learn something, your best becomes a little bit better. Perfection, it's like a done deal. I'm perfect. That's it. There's no more growth. And that's ridiculous. And that's no way to live.
So, you say that like, oh, I'm not this great entrepreneur. I mean, but you have, as a professor and as a speech pathologist, changed so many people's lives. I mean, you can't say that. I mean, if you were to write a book, would it be fiction or nonfiction? What were you thinking? Are you talking, do you want to talk about all those children that you helped, or the students that you helped in college, or?
Good. I mean, it would have to be something of my experience. And I always joke, I'd have to change all the names, to protect the innocent and the guilty. Because, I don't really know. And I guess that's why I've held back, because I don't really know what exactly I would write about. I'd have to give it some thought. I'd really have to think it over and give my own self that questionnaire again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can write about, you did have something published before.
I did. I've been published twice in a magazine that's printed once a year through the UFT. And are you going to make me tell the story I think you want me to tell?
Yeah, because I'm putting it out to the world, because it's on my bucket list to get you
to meet him. Then hold on, because I have something to show you. My father had no sons. And my father also had season tickets every fall at Shea Stadium to watch the New York Jets. And he took me with him every home game for, I think, 6 or 7 years in a row. Can you see this handsome guy? So I was a kid. I was like 10, 12, I don't know. And I had this enormous crush on Joe Namath. And tell me any woman or kid that didn't. He was funny. He was smart. He was sassy. He was going to guarantee, and he came through with the Super Bowl win for the Jets. Of course, hasn't happened since. But I did write about not so much Joe Namath, but more about the experience of going with my father to Shea Stadium as a girl. And I would come back on Monday morning and I would talk stats and plays, and the boys would be, jealous. And the girls would be like, ugh, get away from me. But the boys would be jealous because I knew a lot and I was there and I had autographs and I had stories. So it was about the relationship that my father and I, the part of our relationship where we had this history, and standing for the national anthem and going to a stadium in the late 60s, early 70s was very different than it was today. And it's about the bond that my father and I created in the scenario of Shea Stadium and the Jets, and of course Joe Namath.
Okay, so this story got published in the UFT Once Yearly magazine. Yes. And what is your goal so that anybody who is listening?
I would love to meet Joe Namath, even if it's at a book signing or a memorabilia signing or some kind of speaking event, just to say that he was part of a time in my life that has a very, very special, deep meaning, a deep connection to my dad, and just to meet him, because I don't know, I'd probably turn into a basket of mush in front of him, but I don't think so. I think I would just say what a pleasure it is to meet him, because not only did his sports technique and prowess and skill mean so much to New York at that time, it was a wonderful connection and a beautiful memory. And I just wanted to say, I would like to just say thank you to him.
All right. So if you ever hear of Joe Namath coming for a signing or anything, or he's going to be in an event, please think of Risa, because I really want this to happen for her. Thanks. I'd be like, somebody I knew was coming to like a fancy event, a sports event. And so there's like all these football guys. And I'm like, wait. I got to look through the list. I'm like, because I'm like, okay, listen, if Joe Namath's there, you have to go up to him for me. It's really, I'm determined. I am. Oh, Jen's too. Like, all right, we're going to make this happen for you. Somehow we're going to make it happen. Oh, Risa, did you freeze? Uh-oh. The same thing as last week. Let me see. All right, so I'm hoping that Reese is going to sign back on, but while she's not here, I'm talking to myself. Let me remind you where you can go buy Magnificently Made. So actually, if you're in Bay Ridge, the Book Workshop has them for sale. You can go to magnificentlymade.net. There are 33 authors, and if you go to any of us and go to the link, they will get the credit, or there's like one button if you can't decide, and then we all get the credit. It's really a beautiful, beautiful colored, well, that's not a colored page. Let me try to get that. It's really just so well done. Jen is on one of our publishers. It's just really a beautiful gift. The letters in the front are like lifted. It's really a beautiful thing. Now, how long am I going to sit here and talk to myself waiting for Risa? Do we think she's going to come back on? Mm-hmm. Says no internet. Okay. Okay, they are trying, so we're just going to wait. So if anybody has any questions for Risa, just type them in the chat and I will ask her. This poor thing, every time that she uses StreamYard, she gets bumped. She got bumped last week when she was talking to her publisher. Oh, I can let me see, copy. All right, can you guys see this if I post this? Jen, you want to hop on with me for a second? If you want. Oh, thank you. Yeah. The signing was very nice. So Risa and I were at the book workshop on Saturday. we had some champagne and some cookies, and some friends from the neighborhood came, and we no, don't worry, Risa. And we just sat and we talked, and it was a lot of fun. I will be at a signing on December 2nd out in Long Island at Nest on Main. I know that Sue here is going to be in Staten Island on the 30th. A couple, Tracy will be selling at Maureen's event December 2nd out in Jersey. Let's see. Or we'll have to. How do I do that? Didn't you see the link just go up? Let me send it to you this way. All right, hold on. Jen, I just sent you the link on Facebook Messenger if you want to hop on. It says site isn't working. Oh, okay. Booktown on 11/25. Grant City Tavern 11:30 at 6 p.m. for Sue. Booktown on 11/25. When's that? That's just. Oh, that's Saturday. Okay, that's exciting. Who's going to be there, Jen, at Booktown? Oh, Risa's here. Maybe try using your phone. I wonder if it'd be better connection. All right, everybody. I guess Jen couldn't get in either. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on with it. All right. What else can I answer? Yeah, she's not connecting. All right. So maybe we're going to end this live. But like I said, go to magnificently-made.net and support us all. There's going to be all different listings that all of the authors will have up. I'm going to start pitching the Barnes & Noble here in Staten Island. Hopefully I'll get in there soon too. It's going to make a great holiday gift. So make sure, wait, is she back? Nope. Okay. I'm just going to tell her we're going to end it. So good night, everybody. We'll see who is up next week. I'm not sure. I think it's actually a different author from a different group who signed up for my Monday instead of a Friday. So we're going to switch it up next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope that you all have a joyful celebration with your family, and Risa does too. And I'm sure she's having a magnificent party. Okay. Bye, everybody. Go to magnificentlymade.net and make your purchase today.